Beijun let out a cold laugh. Shang Qinghua gritted his teeth and, braving the possibility of being discovered by a demon and losing his neck as a reward, stuck out his head. Just then, a ball of blue light flew out from the sleeping chamber and enveloped Mo Beijun. But practically in the same instant, Lin Guanjun suddenly played his hand. Already on guard, Mo Beijun spared a hand to catch his treacherous strike. But as he was preoccupied and thus a bit distracted, he let out a wisp of demonic energy slip into his palm. This wisp of foreign demonic energy darted about inside Mo Beijun's body. Handling it would only split his attention further, and he couldn't risk growing careless. Realizing his first strike had succeeded, Lin Guanjun was wild with joy. But before he had the time to advance another step, someone suddenly leapt out at him, dropping down from above. At first I wondered how there could be a guard here even after they were all sent away, Lin Guanjun said coldly. Aren't you the one who left 7 days ago? What? Back to protect your master? You certainly didn't look this devoted. It was fortunate that Shang Qinghua hadn't been able to see him at first, because as soon as he did, his legs went even weaker. Though Lin Guanjun was quite good-looking, it was that soft but treacherous type of good-looking. That pair of peach blossom eyes flashed with frosty light like poisonous needles. When he smiled, he revealed a hint of ominously pale teeth, the kind that were especially suited to tearing through raw meat. Shang Qinghua braced himself and stood in front of Mo Beijun. First, who said I came back to protect my master? Second, who told you he was my master? Then why are you standing in my way right now? Lin Guanjun asked. I'm kicking him while he's down, Shang Qinghua said forcefully. As he continued running his mouth, he pointed a shaking hand at his own face. Take a look. He beat me into this sorry state. This nephew of yours really has a temper. Behind him, Mo Beijun spat out a mouthful of blood. It was 100% a product of pure anger towards Shang Qinghua. In all these years, the ribs I've broken could build another Michael Ridge, and I could drown myself in the blood I've coughed up, Shang Qinghua lamented. Devoted toward this kind of person, this kind of demon. Who the fuck could be devoted after how he treated me? If I, Shang Qinghua, could suffer in silence and swallow my anger without retaliation, how could I call myself the Undine Peak Lord? As Shang Qinghua said this, he absolutely didn't dare turn back to see Mo Beijun's expression. His back was about to freeze over. Lin Guanjun laughed out loud. Mo Bei, did you hear this? I actually feel bad for you. You're doomed to be sold out and betrayed. How can you command the Mo Bei clan like this? If we really let you succeed to the throne, with your disposition, wouldn't our clan forever be on the edge of collapse? You should listen to your uncle. Relax and hand the important matters to me. Why don't you just go? On the verge of achieving his cherished dream of many years, Lin Guanjun was in a magnanimous mood. He turned to Shang Qinghua and asked generously, Oi, and how do you plan to kick him while he's down? With a chortle, Shang Qinghua activated a fire spell and flung it behind him. A burst of sizzling heat hit Lin Guanjun directly in the face, and a red light danced madly before his eyes. The icy Mo Bei clan loathed flame more than anything, especially this flame, which appeared not to be mundane fire, but a fire that Shan Jinhua had shamelessly asked Shen Qingqiu to make for him from a few grains of black sun tinder. A few grains of fear were mixed in with Lin Guanjun's loathing. He swiftly retreated and covered his face, somewhat astonished. Lin Guanjun thought to himself, "Oh, I had no idea that the stupid and cowardly Anding Pig Lord of Rumor was actually such a ruthless character. I heard that Mo Beijing was quite good to him. Who would have imagined that this guy was silently enduring it all for so many years?" And the moment he played his hand, he was so vicious, using Immortal flame to burn Mo Beijing alive. It won't be a simple death either. This fire would probably burn him straight to ashes. If Shan Jinhua had used the spell on Lin Guanjun at that moment, he would also be in quite the sorry state. He shuddered to think that the human might still have a few grains of that fearsome tinder. But whether he had them or not, Mo Beijing had no hope of survival. However, once Lin Guanjun was certain in his calculations and straightened his posture to look, he was instantly enraged. Mo Beijing hadn't been devoured by the raging inferno. Instead, he was shielded between clusters of flame. At that moment, Shan Jinhua hadn't thrown his handful of tinder onto Mo Beijing's body. He had drawn a large circle of approximately 10 square meters around him. The leaping and dancing black sun immortal fire encircled the two within. Though Mo Beijing couldn't exit the circle, neither could Lin Guanjun enter. If he attempted a long-distance attack, the fire would melt his ice spells. When he examined it again, this didn't look like an attack spell at all, but rather a protective circle. As he realized that he had been tricked, Lin Guanjun's face darkened. The vicious demonic energy that Lin Guanjun had slapped into Mo Beijing was still running rampant through his entire body and causing him trouble. He had fallen to one knee, his face alternating between green and white, unable to spare the effort to give anyone a single glance. Shan Jinhua circled him, flustered, but he couldn't assist. At a distance, Lin Guanjun paced around the circle of black sun fire, sneering as he walked. "I misspoke earlier. You're far more devoted. You're practically faithful to the core. You're willing to come back and throw away your life for this disappointing nephew of mine. But I wonder, how long can your circle last?" These words jabbed Shan Jinhua right in the sore spot. He had thrown all the tinder Shen Qingqiu had given him in one go, leaving not a single spare splinter. He squatted by Mo Beijing's side to frantically, but rather uselessly, cheer him on. "My king, did you hear? He wants to kill me. Your uncle wants to kill me. You have to digest it faster. I really don't know how long the circle will last." Suddenly, with a giant crack of splitting stone, icy dust, and frost fluttering down from overhead, Shan Jinhua lost his footing and he swayed a couple of times with the leaping flames. Only then did he see Lin Guanjun remove a hand from one of the pillars in the corridor. "You thought that if you didn't come out, I'd have no way to get to you?" he asked. He planned to collapse the ice fortress and either crush Mo Beijing to death or bury him alive. An ominous web of cracks snaked up the ice pillar. With Lin Guanjun's second strike about to hit, Shan Jinhua said hurriedly, Coming! I'm coming right now!" So, like a long-suffering frog jumping into a deeper fire, he slowly hopped out of the circle. Once he was out, he had no hope of getting back in. Agile as a spectre, Lin Guanjun grabbed him with one hand. "What's the use of you coming out alone? Withdraw the fire!" In fact, Lin Guanjun was also a touch flustered. He didn't know how long it would take Mo Beijing to suppress that bit of demonic energy. If he was able to do so before the black sun fire burned out and finished digesting that martial aspect, today's rebellion would be nothing more than a giant farce. I only know how to set fires, not put them out,